So guys, today we are going to take a look at the unique swing of Jon Rahm. The Rahm swing's pretty unique, obviously, based off the fact that he bows the wrist, but let's see what actually gives him such phenomenal clubhead speed and also allows him to hit the ball so far. Now, if we have a look at kind of just his TrackMan data right here, we can see that clubhead speed is up at, it's kind of 117 right there, nearly 118. Okay, smash factor 1.49. He's carrying it 315 and totaled out at 353. This is out to in little cut, and he's hitting up on the ball 5 degrees. So this is one of the big numbers here, hitting up on it 5 degrees with quite low dynamic loft. Okay, so the spin loft's only at 10 degrees and the spin rate is at 1600. So there's guys out there on the tour like Rory and DJ and Bubba who definitely swing it faster, but they're not necessarily hitting it much longer. Okay, so first bit to have a look at with Rahm swing here, the first move in the takeaway is very one piece right here. Everything's starting to move away together. So the triangle of the chest and the club is all moving back as one single unit. So we can see right here, that whole triangle is still moving away together. Then from here, he then begins to set the club upwards. Okay, and it's right now that we start to see the bow. Now the effect of the bow in the backswing actually means that he doesn't create a 90-degree set between the left arm and the shaft. Obviously, at the top of the backswing now, here is that big bowed position. Now, it's very difficult to get a wrist set when you've bowed the wrist because you haven't got the range of motion in your wrist to enable you to get 90 degrees a set. The interesting bit right here is the club face isn't that closed at the top. It's not at the same angle as the hand, okay? So it's closer to what would actually be an extension of his shoulder plane. So that's probably something that hasn't been spoken about before. It's the fact that although he's bowed the wrist, the club face is very square. So I'd hazard a guess, if he actually didn't have a bowed wrist, that club face would be wide open, okay? And he also, bear in mind, hits a cut. So he wants the ball to start slightly to the left. Have a look at it from the front view right here. What we can see is very wide one-piece takeaway movement from the ball, okay? And unlike some other guys on tour, it's definitely a late wrist set. So we can see here, left arm's got parallel to the floor and the angle between the left arm and the shaft, somewhere kind of in there, it's in and around kind of around that kind of 135 mark. So this is nowhere near 90 degrees a set. So this is obviously something that's still unique to him, but obviously he will create angles later on in the swing, as we're going to see. So he continues to wind up the body, okay, and at the top here he's got over 90 degrees a set, a shoulder turn, okay. We can see there isn't 90 degrees a set between the left arm and the shaft, but as we saw from down the line, the club face isn't closed. The great thing for me is how much stability he's created with his legs. That left leg is really, really stable at this moment in time. So what we then see is, as we go and have a look now, we can see that as he starts down from here, we can now see that he creates a tremendous amount of lag. So he's got over 90 degrees a set or of angle at halfway down here. See the load being put through that golf shaft. But the big thing is when we look back from that top of the backswing, we can see that left knee pushes out immediately. So big thing is the gap between his knees has got bigger, okay? But his arms haven't necessarily released, so he's building up some torque through the middle of his body, okay, which will actually be kind of around this area here, okay, all the way up into the left shoulder. So when he continues to move from here, he can then explode that all the way through to impact, where he now straightens that left leg up, but that left wrist hasn't gone. If it did go, the ball would go left. The unique bit for me is how square that club face is with the wrist condition. Now if we have a look at this, it's dropped in from the inside on down the line right here. Club face is slightly laid back as it would be, okay? And then from here, what we'll then see is just how he really rotates through that shot, okay? And he's still got some pressure on that right side because he's hitting up on the ball so much. despite the hands being forwards, and the club exits very left around his body, but there isn't a flip. So what I'm going to do now guys, is go outside and take a look at how we can start to look at Rahm's swing and what elements you can apply to your game. Okay guys, so what can you take out of Jon Rahm's swing? If you've looked at the likes of Rahm and DJ and thought a bowed wrist is the thing that you want to be employing in your swing, you really need to be aware that making sure that club face isn't very, very closed at the top while you've got that wrist in that condition, because you could see then from Jon Rahm that it wasn't closed. Okay, so that's obviously something that's unique, because once you've set that bow in the wrist, you hold that and then rotate the body on the way through and basically just deliver that square club face back at impact. It takes a lot of timing out of the golf swing, so it can be a phenomenal way to play if that's something you want to do. If you're a little bit more standardized and you don't want to be employing that kind of wrist movement that he's got at the top, like I say, got to beware of that club face. The biggest one for me is the great change in direction he makes. So he really uses that floor, and then what we see is he creates this change in direction, and we can see that the knee goes and the shoulders are staying quite still, and that is getting all of this delay. Now, great drill for you to be able to employ for this is going to be the following. Start off feet together, okay? And what you're going to do is, as you get towards the top of your golf swing, you take a step out. So just before you're ready to hit, get to the top, step, and you can feel all the tension built up in the lat. So if you're the sort of player who doesn't create the separation and definitely doesn't hit up on the ball, one of the things that doesn't allow people to hit up on the ball with the driver is not staying behind it enough, okay? And that can be linked to the upper body going forward. So this little separation drill right here, just moving there, will really allow you to get the feeling of the lower body starting down first, upper body staying back, therefore creating that torque which will maximise that club head speed for you. Hope you've enjoyed this video. There's obviously loads of unique things in Rahm's swing, but some amazing things. Creates tremendous club head speed. He's obviously a real big guy as well, so he's able to take advantage of his size and get all of that power. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Comment below videos you'd like to see from us going forward. Thanks for watching, and talk with you again soon.